sun is conscious. Rows of stacked chocolate, kept cool by an air conditioning unit. It isn't fair, they're saying, laughing. He came from the north, expecting snow. Now look at him with that nozzle. Matti, did you stack the milk with the dates going backwards? I did. But isn't it strange? Little snapshots of star formations contained in coloured bottles, fastened with plastic strapping. So I spent a while in March as artist in residence at a place called Bristol College, which is in Stroud, and spent a lot of time walking around with little hand-drawn maps, coming up with poems for a sequence I was working on at the time. And every time I came up with a poem, wherever I was, in the grounds or in a room or in a yard somewhere, I would write it straight onto the map at the exact point that it came to me. And then on the Friday, which was the final day of the residency, I returned to each place where each individual poem had been plotted and performed that poem. The idea for me that this was a gift or an offering back to the whatever spirit had helped me with that poem in that place. I'm going to read you a couple of those now, just short. This one's number 24. There it is, a river, the Severn, you far off. And 55. You have been a stranger, and now strange. Far off houses, the low light, grown momentarily in sinking to a 9-channel beam, so that the close and distant hills run red with it. Far off, ridges, lines of tenement blocks, allotments, a single Tesco van. You shop, we drop. Genius, terrible thing. I think I can hear the radio as the driver leaps from the cab. Hat, high-vis, half attached still to the seatbelt, trails itself on the March wet ground. I was lucky enough last summer to take part in an event, a series of collaborative events called the Southwest Poetry Tour, which was organised by Camilla Nelson, who's here tonight, and Stephen Fowler. And as part of that event, I wrote a series of poems called 6 Postcards to John Hall. And since we performed those, of the collaborative work we produced, these poems have kind of disappeared in the pile of papers, and I thought it was a shame to let them go, so I decided to pull them out tonight. The main theme of these poems is a conversation had between where I live, in a traveller site just outside of Totnes, and where John Hall lives, in a beautiful old mill building on the other side of the town near Buckfast, near the edge of the moor. I'm just going to read a few of those poems tonight. So, taking from 6 letters to John Hall. 1. And now a grump of clouds, clump we to stoop. The hill place through to someone else's where. I should have gone with a familiar route, or risked a heron escape to Badger Cove. I should have let the Soffen sink, the old growth, and later yellow. How is it that the purple like a glockenspiel sees? Knave's ash. Did you happen to know, John, the meaning? I can tell you I'm somewhere between Redpost and the bracken that obscures Fishacre at Barton. 2. Let me give you a picture. Or the walk looking for a box I've realised is all the way, Little Hempstead, of it. In the morning, an area of woodland surrounded by borage and milk thistle, where the train crosses the river at Tally-Ho, and the caravans by 2 bridges, owned by 2 gyms, have been there 5 years. It's good to hear your experience, because I've only known Totnes without college, and my experiments that happen in the garage happen with abstraction. And 3. A soon come home of tracks at Tally-Ho. The train from somewhere to London, or the local bus type thing, like an illustration of a blood cell moving. Just up, I'm straight as landscape Victorianised, and past the lay-by caravans, the pink polo net horse exercises. Good morning, what can I do against the little cars of immaculate time? The book called From My Place to Yours, I think, was a collection of correspondences between Lorraine Neerdecker and Sid Corman. I remembered coming past the Church of England school in the dip by the waterworks at Staverton to tell you. And 4. I was busking at the time. 4. Even 10p is a lot when your hat is a hollow waiting for it. This in mind, the rain on the van roof, hundreds of tedious channels. I can't bring myself to the always there outside, so I bring my yes, and gosh, the green of high-edge lanes, past Hemswood, the swingers' car park, with gigantic generator and spotlights on a yellow pole, past the 2 gyms' caravans at 2 bridges, and Sarah's self-drive being deconstructed like a chicken in fluids. Sarah's self-drive is a van that a couple of my traveller friends are dismantling for parts. It's quite disturbing to watch the various oils and bits stripped into pots as the weeks went by and more pieces were taken off. And finally, a few of my most recent poems. This one is called Overhaddon, a place in Derbyshire, which is where I spent the first 19 years or so of my life. So, Overhaddon. Up hills and down them hills. Over they. Our, and them. Ay up, high up. This one hasn't got a title, but I'd call it What Wants, because that's the first 2 words. So the title is What Wants. If you like. What wants when I speak That is she then speaking. Glint to glimpse in landscape heating. Want to close the image, the purity of, or encased in doubt. Would do, but the lane spine grasped me in. Last night, work, fucking dreamt of it. Putting little pointlessnesses through the till, cash thrill, artful almost. Reporting on atrocities doesn't happen, but atrocities, the small and daily erasure of imagined and forgotten liberties, happens. 2. Have you won the frack pot? Someone has removed the yellow warning tape that surrounded the faucet and the tall nettles and the milk thistle that surrounded the fence. Someone has let the tap unclutch green water. And though it is bright, there is Nick the neighbour. Nick! Your permaculture hat is on the fence hanging. You're going to burn in this hot, almost foreign light. Got a couple of poems left that comes alright at the time. DIY day. Do you have a silicon gun between the hours of 11 and 2 I could possibly? Or Trago on a Saturday, you lucky boy. They're buying and buying this island, he's saying. They'll come with trucks and log loud, load it on. And we're the roads, and finally resist. Sun suddenly, and disappears as quick. She then. Resistance is like Celtic music. There's places you'll hear them bubbling up between the slabs. There's places you'll think it moss, and loss is not sufficiently expressed in any other language. I should anyway get on. When a roof needs doing, you've saved me a trip. The cackled crowds, the cars, the high-barred pylons. And one more poem. This one's called Composting Yates. It's quite fun. Composting Yates. This room is very cold. The air coming up through it, the blue air. Everything is normal. Go to work. The hems about the edge of the yard, picking and frilling away at the edge of the field. Walking. If I ever stop walking, remind me to delete myself. Little numbers everywhere.